Okay, chapter 4, section 2, part 3. So this will be the last video for that section. I just wanted to start here so you knew that it was the same thing. Moving along, this is the last kind of question that you're going to be asked, and that is, what is excluded from the domain? Couple things here. No matter what, you can never, ever divide by 0. Ever. It doesn't matter what country you're in, what math you're taking, you can never, ever divide by 0. If you want to try it, with your calculator right now, take 24 divided by 0. And if you take 24 divided by 0, you should get an error symbol. Depending on which calculator you have, you'll get a different kind of error. And if you take 0 divided by 3, you're not going to get an error symbol. You're going to get 0. So it's okay if you start with 0, because you're at least starting with something. Well, nothing. Divided into 3, everybody would get nothing. But dividing by 0, that's tricky. And dividing by 0, that would be the same thing as if I had 0 in the denominator. I can't do that. Okay? So that is not ever allowed. It is okay if I have 0 in the numerator. I just get 0 as an answer. So just be careful with that. So how do I know if something will be excluded from the domain? So remember that the domain is the x values. Okay, so that would be pretty important here. So I'm talking about x values. Excluded means something that can't happen. And you can't divide by zeros. So any values that would be excluded from the domain would be anything that would make your denominator equal to 0. Okay? Doesn't mean 0 is the answer. It's anything that would make the denominator equal 0. Here are some examples. So in these 3 examples, it says, what value is excluded from the domain? The only thing I'm worried about is my denominator. What value for x would make that denominator 0? 1. If x was 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means x cannot equal 1. 1 is excluded. Look at this next one. The only thing I'm worried about is the denominator. There isn't anything, so nothing is excluded. Okay, so nothing is excluded. Everything's okay. So I really only care if there is a variable in my denominator. Because if there's a variable in the denominator, that means there could be a chance that it might equal 0 sometime, and we can't let it. So if I look at this one, something plus 5 equals 0, that something is going to have to be negative 5. So that means x cannot equal negative 5. That is what is excluded from the domain. And that is actually all that I have. I was going to put a link in here, and I obviously forgot. But if you go to my live binder, there are some other pages in there that can help. So if you go to my live binder, and that link is on eCollege, and then you go to chapter 4, I believe there are some tabs that say functions. There's probably some tabs that say practice with functions. If you click on those tabs, it'll either give you some practice, or it can give you the definition of functions, function notation, just like I explained, except maybe written a little bit different. Okay? Hopefully it helped. Remember, you can rewind it and go over it as many times as you want. You can go back to the other 2 videos as many times as you want. And you can email or text me if you want. Alrighty? Stay tuned for the next one.